Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. This is Black Minds News and I'm your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind. This channel is to report, articulate, transmit, communicate, incite, inspire, bring the news no matter where it comes from, news sites, webs, newspapers, books, quotes from publications. As I, your whiteologist, bring this information, I ask that the creator of the universe be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit. Because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created the greatest land, which we call the United States, we, the BADOS, some say Black American descendant of slave, some say Black African descendant of slave, others might say American descendant of slaves. We, the descendants of that, give honor to our ancestors. And you know what my motto is? I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. This story today, July 15, 2019, going into the city of Detroit. Did you hear about in Detroit that a police commissioner slams Gestapo tactics in a meeting? That's right, I'm going to say that again. A police commissioner slams Gestapo tactics at a meeting, and he was arrested. Stay tuned for this as we go into this. Again, this is the most hated show on the black corner of the internet, and welcome to Black Minds News. All right, welcome again. I'm your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind. And first and foremost, again, I'm doing my new way of doing it, the one-hitters. First and foremost, I didn't say last show, and I want to apologize for that. To those who are my subscribers, welcome, fam, in the house. Again, once again, it's on. Come up with new ways to try to give out more information because, again, I think a lot of you, I know it's a lot of time consuming, so I better just do the one hitters and you can choose and pick which ones you want. So first and foremost, on to my subscribers, what's good? Passerbys, if you should just happen to just stumble across under this most hidden show, under the water, up under the tunnel, going through craters and time bombs, and you just happen to fall over here, welcome to the most hated show in the corner. This is the host, Black Minds News, and that's what we call it over here. Now, let me go ahead and get into this story I'm going to talk about. I got to be about it, right? So let me go ahead and show you what I've seen up here in Detroit. Check this out. Be right back.
And first at 10, a heated meeting in Detroit ends with the police commissioner in handcuffs.
It didn't take long for tempers to flare in front of a packed and irate crowd.
7 Action News reporter Alan Campbell watched all of this unfold. And Alan, how did this play out?
Well, Glenda, I have to tell you, it was a wild night tonight here at the Police Board of Commissioners meeting. There was a commissioner who was arrested, tempers flared, and there were protesters in attendance who were protesting facial recognition technology.
For the third time, you're out of order, and I'm going to ask that Commissioner Burke please be removed from the meeting.
Things got heated quick at the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners meeting.
Get your hands off me! Get your hands off me! Don't touch me!
Commissioner Willie Burton taken away in handcuffs after the chair asked him to be removed after she said his time for comment was up.
He just asked her, what is she going to do differently? She was elected. She's the immediate past chair, and now she just got elected again.
Chaos then ensued as those in attendance didn't approve of Commissioner Burton's removal. Most were in attendance to protest the use of facial recognition. Protesters were wearing masks as a sign to shield their identity. Community advocates say they wanted to have a peaceful protest and get their message out.
We need to ensure that our voice is heard. Unfortunately, things got a little bit out of hand, and we lost that respect, we lost that civility, and I'm concerned that our message got lost.
The technology would be used in crimes like carjacking, home invasions, robbery, murder, or sexual assault.
I'm all for technology and giving our officers the things that they need to do their jobs, to make them easier.
The use of facial recognition is a controversial debate. Until policies are in place, many people, even police commissioners, wonder how this new technology will ensure privacy.
We have to make sure that we have sound policy, and that we have technology that really works, that can give us what we need.
And Commissioner Burton was arrested for disorderly conduct. We're told he has bonded out. As for those protesters who were in attendance to protest facial recognition technology, again, they say more policy needs to be done before this can actually be used everywhere in the city of Detroit. But what a wild night and a wild meeting it was indeed. Reporting live tonight in Detroit, I'm Alan Campbell, 7 Action News.
All right, there we go. For some odd reason wasn't on. All right, so how you doing? Hey, how's y'all doing? This is the Black Minds News. And we got this story for you over here about a police commissioner that slams Gestapo tactics at a meeting. We see this is in Detroit. A Detroit police commissioner who was handcuffed and removed from Thursday's board meeting said he alarmed at the Gestapo tactics of officers who arrest him and took him to jail. Commissioner Willie Burton added Friday the experience taught him a lesson. Jail is not pretty, he said. Detroit police chief on Friday supported his officers' actions, insisting it's vital that order be kept during meetings and that violators will be continued to be held accountable. Burton called Thursday's event an inhumane experience, something I wouldn't wish on anyone. I was handcuffed and then taken to jail for trying to speak during a meeting, Burton said. They're shutting down democracy. It's a dangerous time in Detroit right now. Board Chair Lisa Carter sees it differently. She said Burton was warned several times Thursday to stop disrupting the meeting and the Durfee Information Center on Collingwood Street on City West Side. Everyone has a right to speak, but you can't just be disorderly, she said after Thursday's meeting. You need to have order, and I'm not going to put up with that. Burton said officers were out of line by cuffing him and taking him to jail. But Police Chief James Craig said the commissioner left his officers no other choice. I don't agree with the characterization that the police department is using Gestapo tactics, Craig said. There were very clear rules of conduct in public meetings. We vehemently support the constitutional right of the free speech, but there comes a point during a meeting where it exceeds what's defined as free speech, and it becomes disruptive, he said. Craig pointed out that the police also arrested a man earlier this week for repeatedly interrupting the Detroit Charter Revision Commission meeting. We don't want to arrest anyone, the chief said. However, we will arrest when it is lawful to do so, when it is necessary. Our primary objective is that these meetings are conducted in an orderly fashion. It's okay to have different opinions, but you can't become disruptive. The past few police board meetings have been packed with citizens expressing concern about the police department's use of facial recognition software, which has been employed for about a year. About tabling the issue is about June 27th meeting. The board was set to vote Thursday on whether to approve a formal policy governing use of the facial recognition software. But Craig said he wanted to make a few tweaks to the proposed policy before the board voted on it. So prior to Thursday meeting, the vote was removed from the agenda. It's an emotional issue, he said, and I don't have a problem if people disagree with facial recognition technology. That's how a free society works, and I welcome opposing views. But you can't just interrupt meetings like that. Burton has complained for months that former board chairman Willie Bell wasn't allowing him to speak during meetings. Bell has adjourned previous meeting during disrupts or disputes with Burton, who represents city's 5th district. The tension came to a head Thursday after Carter was sworn in as the new board chair. Her second term as chair, and Burton asked her what she would do differently than her first term. Carter repeatedly told Burton he was out of order. Out of order? No, I wasn't out of order, Burton said Friday. I was acknowledged by the chair, and I asked her what she would do differently that she didn't do before in her first term as chair. The next thing I know, I'm being arrested, Burton said. Fellow Commissioner Dale Brown followed him to the Detroit Detention Center and paid his $100 bond after Burton had spent about a half hour behind bars. Burton said he's due in court July 25th on disorderly conduct charges. If found guilty of the misdemeanor, he faces up to 90 days in jail, a fine up to $500 or both. There's nothing nice when you're in handcuffs, Burton said. I was carried out of the police board commission meeting and thrown down and onto the floor in the District 1 represents. There was District 5 residents in that meeting. When they saw their commissioner being carried out, they were concerned. As officers handcuffed Burton, several audience members rushed to the front of the room and other cops blocked them from getting too close. It's scary when the police commission is shut down for trying to voice concerns about facial recognition technology, Burton said, calling the software techno-racism. What happens when this technology misidentify a person of color that doesn't have the resources for a good legal defense? There are serious issues, Burton said. One of the criticisms for technology is that darker-skinned people are more often misidentified. Craig said the policy, if approved, requires police to have more evidence than facial recognition software match in order to seek charge against someone. He also said the proposed policy bars officers from scanning people's faces. Instead, he said the software would be used after the fact to identify people captured on video committing violent crimes. There's a lot of misunderstanding about this issue, Craig said. And that's the end of that right now. So, we see that, as you've seen in the video, and matter of fact, I have a second part. So let me go ahead and show you the second part to this too, right? There was a second part to this. So let me go ahead and show you this, right? 2 parts to this and get to see him when he's going out, right? So check this out, and we should be right. Let's see if that's all right. Let's see, no.
When you silence a commissioner, you disenfranchise $100 that they represent. And the fact that you, gentlemen, put your hands on me was wrong. That was wrong.
Illegal.
It's not accepted, and it would not be tolerated.
Unconstitutional.
It seems like it's a bridge or a wall against elected officials that's speaking.
Be placed under arrest.
Oh, now they're going to arrest you. Of course they are. Guess what? They just arrested Miko for speaking his mind. Now they arrest Willie Burton. For what?
Put it like this.
Disturbing the peace, disorderly conduct, for being a police commissioner? That's what you're arresting him for?
I'm being arrested.
What you being arrested for?
What am I being arrested for?
Yeah.
I was called on by the chair, recognized by the chair, and I was not out of order because I was recognized by the chair. And when the chair called on me, I spoke up. And I still had the floor because I was still speaking. I'm not subject to a 2-minute rule, according to Open Meetings Act.
Commissioner Burton, you want to say anything? Come on, man.
I've been assaulted by Detroit police officers. You see what happened here.
Get arrested when they speak.
Sorry, he ran to get his car. Okay.
Can I have my phone real quick? Call Sam. Scotty, you got Sam's number? You have Sam's number?
I think so.
Call Sam.
Okay, I'll call him. Walk this way.
You got my phone?
Do you believe you're out of line, Commissioner, or what?
My password is 2020.
Come on, sir.
Call Sam.
Do you believe you were out of line?
No,
or what?
no, I was not out of line.
What is the true root of this, in your opinion?
What's going on is this is in jest. And this attack on elected officials speaking up is uncalled for and unconstitutional. When we represent a district of 100,000 people that represent us, and a police commissioner, sitting commissioner, is being arrested.
Watch your head getting in, sir.
Sit from the side.
You've been vocal for some time. Do you think this is a build-up? Go ahead, sir. Come on, come on.
This is this.
Come on, get in.
I will be filing for grievance.
Okay, all right.
Is there anything you want to say to your constituents
Bro, go ahead. Go.
in your district, sir? Anything you want to say to your...
I want to tell my constituents is that I fight for them and I'm here for them, and that this is uncalled for when you represent somebody to represent you.
Do you know why you're being arrested? Have they told you?
No, they have not told me that what I'm being arrested for.
Did you put your hands on officers? Did you do anything wrong?
No, I put my hands up and they grabbed me from behind and pulled me out of my seat like I was being criminalized like a criminal that I am not.
Did you heed the warning though?
Step back. He's about to take off. Step back, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Saeed, go ahead.
All right, so now you see the second part to that, right? You see the brother there being arrested, right? And see that's the brother that was commissioner is Willie Burton, right? And again, he's representing his District 5 in Detroit, right? And they had a hearing based on the simple fact that they was talking about the face recognition. Again, if you are an avid watcher of this show, we've already talked about that again when the news break. Again, this is one of those black news, where you're going to be informed. When I see it, just because you don't mean I won't report it, right? So we see that Willie Burton, again, his people in his district are having, issues with the facial recognition because, again, as much reading as I do on a lot of news articles and things of that and so forth, they say that the AI is very discriminative, especially when it comes to black people. Right? So again, that you heard that I talked about earlier when I talked about in the article, when they talk about people who are darker melanated, people, heavy melanated people, face recognition can be, misinterpreted or misdiagnosed by the system. And so what happens if somebody gets, misidentified and then they don't have the resources to fight the case? So they're going to end up going through some long process of unrighteousness until somehow somebody comes along, could be 20, 30 years later, depending on what crime it is that they use it for. So you see that, again, democracy is being checked because, see, now that they know that the, demographics is changing. And if you notice that, again, like in Texas, there's a lot of, black judges, women that were in, and you see a lot of mayors now. Becoming, black women are being married. So the demographics of the, politics, people of color, BADOS, the ADOS, are seen to be now in places. And so using the apparatus of the political power, now people want to do it. But see, again, is democracy really used for black folks? Because see, here there's an individual. Again, you've seen the brother that was in there, Willie Horton. That's a Willie Horton? I'm going to say Willie Burton. That's a Horton. Horton was, Horton was the one they used about Reagan and them used, right? So I don't want to mischaracterize you on that. I'm sorry about that one. But Willie Burton, again, is representing those people who, again, his constituency who put him in. What they want, he represents. And so once we start seeing this go around the country like that, certain issues, and again, the person who was the chair had just been inaugurated for their second term, based on the, what the constituents of District 5 felt about her, he related it. And based on the fact that he asked her, what are you going to do different than you did your first term? She didn't like that. The HNIC, right? Again, you got to ask yourself, when HNICs are in position, and then, you know what I'm saying, another HNIC is questioning you, don't be questioning me, nigga. You understand? Right? If Master questions me, that's different. But don't no other nigga be questioning me in here about nothing I do. You know what I'm saying? You ought to be thankful that we in here like this. But since you in here questioning me, you don't be fronting me off in front of everybody like that. Matter of fact, I don't like the way you talking. Matter of fact, arrest him. See? What happens? See, when black people got power sometimes, they abuse their power. Now, would you have did that if he was white? Ask yourself. Would she have got a white man arrested and taken out of there in handcuffs if he was white? We know probably high probability not. Probably not. But because what he said she didn't like, and again he said he dressed the chair, he had the floor, but you didn't like his questioning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my power to overthrow you, and that's what ended up happening. So this brother here is going to go through the process, but again, you would think that a commissioner was a better way they could have dealt with it than just grabbing him up and doing it. So he said Gestapo. Now that pissed the chief off. The chief didn't like that. He said, hey, there's certain protocol. We don't say certain shit. And you don't put that in the minds of the citizenry by saying that shit, right? You don't talk about no Gestapo shit because that's not how we get down. Well, you know that's not true. Is it? Well, what does a Gestapo really mean, right? For those who don't know what a Gestapo is. A Gestapo is this. A Gestapo is a secret police organization operating against persons suspected of, they say, treason or sedition, and often employing underhanded and terroristic methods, right? Now, in this case, he using the word Gestapo may mean that, again, we're talking about in the black community, right? Black community feel like, again, the rapport between community and policing in the black communities is not as good. The grade is D minus, D plus. I'm kind of giving you an extra point when I say D plus, based on the simple fact that, again, we're not going to say every situation that didn't happen with police, the interactions. We're talking about the people who are innocent that had nothing to do, and then they just be in, the malfeasance and the malpractice that's been administered on them. We see it on the daily. In shows like Black Minds News, we report that. So we know that's not something to figure of our imagination. We know these are real and tangible things that can be seen, felt, heard, and touched if it's that close to you, right? And so, it just go to show you that even in positions of power and being black in this game that we call in politics, you understand? Being an HNIC is only temporary. It has limitations to your power. Can you administer to any and everyone? I done seen, and we done did on this show, where they had a hearing. Matter of fact, it was a sister was in there talking about the immigration and about how she felt like the organization or the institution was intentionally allowing these things to happen. Now, I can't, for those who went to the immigration thing, that's not what I do, but I'm just talking about the situation. But she felt like they was intentionally allowing these things to manifest. And she said some words that said that you're allowing them to die and be killed. Well, they wanted that not to be on the record. Now, they were sitting in there, and the person at the chair who was holding the position was the HNIC. Everybody else, other than this one that was talking, the sister, everybody else was Caucasian. And the person that she was making reference to asked the chair that he would like to have that stricken off the record, saying that because he's the head of that department, that he is allowing this to manifest, and using the term killing, he didn't want that on the record. But the HNIC collaborated with the sister and said, they will stick. Well, guess what they did? They decided to use a process to say that we want to challenge the chair's authority by having a unanimous vote, which means, again, there's going to be way more of them. There's going to be you in there. So when they pulled that out, and then what happened? It was 8-2 in favor of overthrowing what had been said. And now here's the HNIC had to say, oh, my standard will now be overruled. Huh? See? HNIC in Massa House is only temporary. You ain't got no full power in there, as much as you might think, because you got a title commissioner and president. Now, again, This massive business. You understand? And so, again, he's trying to implement something that, again, he feels is good for him. Yes, as citizenry, we have the right to sit there and protest. But, again, we think that when we send somebody up there to represent us, and that, again, that's the job of what you do in politics and vote, right? You're sending somebody to represent those people of this district or this state or whatever it might be. But they already know when they get up there what's going to happen. They're going to end up having to have a change of heart because, again, just like they talk about reparations, you can't get the majority of them to know they know it's wrong, but are they going to do it for right? They're not. So again, this brother here, they want to put a leash and tie his ass and say, now you're not going to come up here and come with these, these wild-eyed type of, assumptions that coming from your residents. This is the way business is going to be, and this is the way it's going to be, and we not changing, and we're going to put what they saying. So obviously, this is becoming more of a police nation, right? So he used the term Gestapo. So that's letting you know, and they was pissed off about that. But again, it's lining up side by side, and what you might see. So again, that's this story here. Coming with a one-shotter. You tell me what you think. You go out there, write it out, say some things, tell me what you think about it. And before I get up out of here, let me go ahead for those who might be a little new over here. And let me give some of this here and some of that here. And then we're going to go on out after that. And again, this is the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. And I want to thank you for coming up with this one hitter. And this is the way I'm going to be doing it until a later further notice, right? So peace out, love, and all that good stuff.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on. And it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saved 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, all white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
5 months before me. There are only two possible explanations. There were 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to fucking You can't make me do anything like Chris!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? It knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, "Brother Greg, you coming by today?" And I said, "Malcolm, I love you." And I said, "I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there." He said, "What do you mean, Brother Greg?" I said, "Well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East." And I said, "But I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you."